Kathleen Skiba says her former friend and tenant, Joshua Wolf, stiffed her on the purchase of a car. Joshua's countersuing for stolen tools and false allegations of domestic abuse.
Now, did the defendant come to your home where you were living to bring you back to the house that he was renting to own in the car?
No, I picked him up in my car.
You drove?
I drove in my Camaro.
Just. You drove, you picked him up. That's what you started to tell me.
Yes.
What month was that? February?
Yes.
So you drove from where you were in February and picked him up. And then what did you do after you picked him up?
We drove back the next day and
You drove back?
With the car.
Just a second.
And my
Sure.
U-Haul.
You picked him up and drove him to where you were staying. That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
Where you had rented a U-Haul?
Yes.
That's a yes or a no?
That would be yes.
And how long did it take, once you picked him up, to drive back? How many hours or miles was
They
it?
stayed the night. We left first thing in the morning,
Just
about 6 hours.
So he drove back with you 6 hours to where you were. You stayed at his home.
No, he stayed at my home.
No. He was renting to own the house. So
well,
you were
I
staying.
was renting where I was living.
Just,
so I picked him up and he came and stayed the night at my house and we drove back in the morning.
Just a second. So we actually stayed over.
He stayed over.
Working for you to help you move.
Right, because I'm disability, ma'am.
Listen, that's unfortunate for you, but as far as the law is concerned, that means and I don't care.
Right.
You picked him up,
right.
Drove him back 6 hours to your house with his son?
Yes.
Yes, the two of them drove back 6 hours. Both of them slept over at your house, helped you load up the U-Haul from the house, then drove back to the house that he was renting to own that you said you had to stay in for a while, or whatever. Because your lawsuit has to do with $1,250 for a car. All I want you to show me is proof of how much you paid the defendant and his son to move you.
Well...
No.
I don't have anything because they said they would do it for him never giving me any rent, basically, because he never pays me nothing. And he stayed there also.
No, that's just a second.
That's what August.
Just a second. That's what you told me. You told me he moved in October and he paid October, November, and December's rent. And you gave him the car in exchange for moving you 12 hours with his son. Not only him, he brought his son to move your stuff.
Because
in exchange for that, your case is dismissed.
And I
We're
never
done.
gave him
We're done
nothing.
with your case. Listen
Would you
to
like
me.
to see the
We're
pictures of the legal activity going in my house? That's why I left.
Listen to me. We are done
He's
with
still
your
in
case.
my home.
I don't care.
He owes me thousands.
Listen to me. I don't care. Your lawsuit here has to do with a car.
That he
period.
owes me.
And I find that that car, as he indicates, since you gave him no money to move you in February...
But he also lived in my home for months with no money also, ma'am, before.
Very good. You have title to the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It's your car. Now
he can pack the boxes in it and leave my home. That's great.
Now, you have a counterclaim for your tools.
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Very good. You still living in the house?
Yes, I am.
Show me the last rent check you sent to her.
Actually, I don't have the last rent check because I told her...
Then your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done. Over.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya.